obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience be happiness, be separate from suffering and heavily. I will establish them in the still one surpass perfect complete precious Buddhahood. O Mother Saint beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience happiness be separate from suffering and heavily. I will establish them in the still one surpass perfect complete precious Buddhahood. Dala Damwara Sibe Da No Bara Sibe Ge Tarba Dan Tam Jen Jembe Barde Jo Bara Seba Tam Je Je So Sebe Mananga Dan Yambe Sem Jen Tam Je Dewa Dan De Dongara Dan Jar Nyor De Lana Me Ba Yang Da Bara Zobe San Jo Rumbo Je To Bara Za thus, unto achieving enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Unto death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sangha. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas and Dhakinis and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Enter in the heart of enlightenment. I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and the likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As previous Buddhas ambassador enlightened mind and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path are true for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to bodhicitta, and apply myself to complete stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge under enlightenment reach. By the merit of Janara and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all Mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind to all Tathangatas and the 10 directions. Those who have already reached Tathangata state, those who are reaching it at the present, and those Tathangata state to come. Through the power of Samantha prayers, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind. I prostrate to them, multiplying my body as many times as the atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas. Thus, all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great ocean of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas, I make offerings of arrows, pure flowers, flower garlands, or music, anointing oils, manifesting lay and fragrant incense. I make offerings to them of fine garments, perfume and purple, for the highest Mumeru and orange, the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I prostrate to them Buddhas and make offering to them, following the deeds of the great Bodhisattva Samantha. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas and the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattvas and the Pakshika Buddhas. Those who have attained Aharasha and those who have entered the path of Aharasha and other beings. Recourse to all great protectors and the Buddhas to turn the highest way of Dharma as the light displaying the darkness of beings in the 10 directions, leading them gradually to the enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas intend to pass into Parinirvana to living long for as many eons as there are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through postrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. The ground is spanking with the scented water, and the strewn with the flowers. It is adorned with the mirror, the spirit mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As the Buddha fell out for it, may all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fears. To the lamas who possess the Tirikayas, offer altar in and sacred offerings. With my body where that all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rena Mandra Labunza Manga Samandra Savarina Samaye Ahom. Equal refuge, ornament of the world, your fame provides the 3,000 world. You are the victor of Vajradhara with adored. I bow at the feet of Father Njiti Songo. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the liberal nature of mind. Please turn the way of Dharma of the two workers and the combination according to disposition and likewise the mental capacity of sentient beings. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of two worlds, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text at his heart. He has a compassion for all beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance and the prison of samsara as a father for only son. Like a thunderclap, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma. Through the 60 branch of Haramana's speech, he wears the wisdom sword to cut the saddling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels, and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Manjushri, adorned by the 112 Son of Buddha, to dispel darkness of my ignorance. You who are the perfect, youthful, sorry, Om Arapasana de 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 Om Arapasana. Om Arapasana de 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 Om Arapasana. Om Arapasana de Om Wangi Shoramo, 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 Om Wangi Shoramo. Om Wangi Shoramo, you who are the perfect, beautiful body, who flames of wisdom blesses, and dissipate darkness of worldly ignorance, are posted before you and praise you, Manjushri. Tangge doje yaje reisen rong yin je me do de je wong jiang ba zi je len bo da wer ji be xia je jar be xia la ge zan zi do je jiang jin de lo na ro da mar ba me la ji je gang bo ba pa mo zhe ba jar wan ji gong be ga ju la ma na la zo wan de ro me chi je yin je bo zhang ni de song sang jie gen jie ngo wo nie ran sen chi ge ngo song dong ze be za we la me ya la zo wan de. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wish fulfilling Jewel.
Morning. So now we're going to stage your meditation, awakening the mind. Awakening the mind. We have chapter 8. So introduction and the main body of the text. Conclusion. So we finished the introduction, and the main body has chapter 8. So today we are in the chapter 7, how to meditate on the development stage of skillful means. This chapter is skillful method, so we're using special method to be enlightenment. There's also Vajrayana teaching called Vajrayana method. Usually we share the three yanas, Theravada tradition, Mahayana tradition, Vajrayana tradition, three yanas. So in this part, how to meditate on the development stage of skillful means is Vajrayana teaching. Mahayana has some part is very similar, but last week we talked outer level, inner level, and the secret level. Mahayana Sutra tradition only practice outer level. Sutra tradition also has, Mahayana tradition also has Yadam deities, Buddhas, Chenrezig, Manjushri, Tara, you know, that's all they has. But when the practice is followed by outer level practice, then in this practice right now, development stage of skillful means is Vajrayana has outer level, inner level, secret level, three different levels. When we share this teaching, so followed by ground, path, and result. Ground, everyone is a Buddha, we have all sentient beings as a nature, but due to obstacles, we don't recognize. Now on the path, purifying all obstacles, the result is recognized true nature. So on the path has outer level practice, inner level practice, secret level practice. Outer level practice is easy for first like beginner. We thinking about the same, just usually we are ordinary beings, and the Buddhas, Yadam deities, who has compassion, wisdom, all the 10 powers, four less, that kind who has power, qualities is Buddha and the Yadam deities. So we are always think different because we are ordinary. Buddha means enlightened beings, separate, different. Then ordinary beings, supplication, pray to enlightened beings. That all is outer level practice. And the inner level, see, last week we talked, our body has all these center channels, wing, nadas, chakras. This all impure is transformed to the pure. So that is an inner level practice. Then secret level practice, we discover our own nature is Buddha, followed by three different levels. So that's all last week we talked. Today, then visualization. So last week, couple of weeks we shared this section. Most section is like how to how to practice. Why is this Vajrayana teachings important? Kind of more introduction sections. Today we're going to go into the how to meditate that. So follow the step-by-step generation stage. Then last week we talked, all impure percept have to transform to the pure percepts. otherwise, we have this mundane percept. So this mundane impure percept, very strong karmic imprints. Due to that, we're going to take rebirth again in samsara. So this Vajrayana skillful method means mundane impure percept is transformed to the pure percept using this special method. So if you're going to wash something like dirty, and you're using something powerful wash, yeah, it's not too hard, but easy to wash. It's also become, easily this dirty or whatever there is wash away, like that. So we, mundane or unmundane percepts or impure percept, that all is we have to wash away to have to find the true, pure percepts using something method. If you using hand to wash something, it take long time. If you use very soft cloth, then wash something, it take long time, right? And you use powerful wash, and very fastly, remove all the unclean or dirty object. So like that, this method, using method, very fastly, impure percept is transforming, changing. So that's why we have to follow by different levels of meditation. Last week we talked, we are attached to fixation to in this world. So that's why we meditate right now where we are. So this where we stay, the place is, or this world is visualize Buddha's pure line. So then Buddha's pure line is which Buddha you have connections more strongly. Some people has Buddha Amitabha have very strong connections. So people wanted to reborn to Buddha Amitabha pure line. So then we visualize this whole universe is Buddha Amitabha pure line, and then no fixation, no longer attached to in this world, is impure, is transformed to the pure percepts. So that means we're not going to reborn again in this universe because to purify that karmic imprint. Then where you stay, your home is visualize that your home is Buddha's palace. And then you no longer fixation to your home, attached to your home, so that impure home is transformed to the pure percepts, create a pure percepts. We have, very strong fixation, karmic imprints in attached to our homes. So due to that, we reborn to samsara. Long as we born to in samsara, always beings have homes, different ways that different beings have different percepts, homes. So we have purified that all karmic imprint percept. This purifying karmic imprint percept is not only our human being percepts. So animals, hungry ghosts, harem, all these beings percept also purifying. So that's why we visualize our home is Yadam Deity is a palace. Then inside the palace, we have to visualize the throne, because we have to purify this body, is impure body is transformed to the pure percept, create ourselves as Buddha. So inside the home, who live? We live inside the home, right? And then we live inside the home. So you think about your bed, your seat, they all have to transform. The first, we have to visualize the seats, and then seats transform, then body transforms. So that helps become, birth karmic imprints is purifying. Why we are reborn into samsara? Because due to our karmic imprints. very strong karmic imprints habituate. That's why we're taking birth again and again. We have to use this method to purify. So last week we talked about that. How to purify universal using these syllables, how to purify our impure house, transform to the Yadam deity's palace using these syllables and purify. So we already told that section. So now, today I think we are page 92.
94. 94.
94?
Yeah. Second paragraph.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So it's 94. 92 is transforming the palace. Our house is transformed to the deity's palace. So then the palace has many different structures. Also, palace has a different kind, ornamentation, shape, and structure. So they're all showing this, importance to have understand of the significance in the symbols of the pure attributes depicted in the celestial palace. So we talked that part last week. This palace has always a different kind, due to the different Yadam deities. Not always the same. They peaceful, increasing, magnetizing, wrathful, all this different, activity has different palace shapes and designs. So that section is not always the same. You don't see all the time same. So now today, for the page 94, second paragraph, for the second aspect of development stage practice. So now we purify auto level universal and also house. Our house is transformed to Buddha's palace. That's all is auto universal is transforming. No inner sentient beings have to transform to Buddhas. Auto universal or is Buddha's palace, Buddha's pure line and the palace. Inner sentient beings are Buddha. So we have to create that percept. For the second aspect of development stage practice, meditating on the form of the deity. So we have to visualize this, our body is Yadam deity. We begin by giving rise to the deity's seat. So then how to meditate that is followed by generation stage. So first we have to visualize the deity's seat. Here we are purify the conceptual grasping and clinging, or rather the habitual tendencies of sentient beings to abide in and take birth from a mother's lotus through the sperm and ovum, heat and moisture, and so forth. So see here we are purifying. So we have a purification, and then is a result. So three things follow usually, or this each level. So here right now, purifying. What do we have to purify? Why we have to purify? If we don't purify, what is problem? So we have to understand that if we don't purify, then we are continually reborn again samsara. So we are reincarnation. And the generally Buddhist teaching, reincarnation means all the sentient beings are reincarnation. Buddhas, like Bodhisattvas, take to birth into samsara is called manifestation. So some reasons, reincarnation means like sometimes like, due to the culture, it's very important. But reincarnation means actually in the truly teachings, reincarnation means all sentient beings are reincarnation because we are reborn again and again. If we don't purify this percept, we take rebirth again, we take reincarnation again. So what the problem is, then we endless suffering. We always suffering in samsara. So we don't want suffering, right? All sentient beings want happiness. No one wants suffering. But due to our ignorance, we don't know how to create our happiness, our own happiness. So in this one, it's a method who has compassion, wisdom, realizers, share for us. Use this method and purify our impure precepts. Then we don't have to take to rebirth again into samsara. So we think about we have a lot of dreams every night. Where is this dreams is come from? Because it's due to our karmic imprints. Some as a previous life karmic imprints, some is in this life karmic imprints, some showing the like future where we going to what happening, the karmic imprints are happening. So that's also dream is not true, but always have something going on delusionally come from is our karmic imprints. So our habituate is happening also in the dream. So like that, we are continually, go into samsara again and again until we purify our karmic imprints. So that's why we have to purify here. Purify the conceptual grasping. What do we have to purify? Our conceptual grasping and clinging. So conceptual grasping and clinging, that is the causes of samsara. See, taking the birth, why we taking birth in samsara? Because conceptual grasping and clinging to the or this object. That's why we taking birth into samsara. Or rather the habitual tendencies. We have a habitual tendencies. That's why we take birth. And same is dreaming of sentient beings to abide in and take birth. So that's why sentient beings take birth in samsara from a mother's lotus through. So then, because we have very strong also karmic imprints habituate, when we die, so consciousness always looking, Bardo beings looking for mother's lotus through the sperm and ovum. So that's a karmic imprint. They're only looking for that. That's why beings into mother's womb to take birth. Then the taking birth has different kind of taking birth. So some is heat, and some is in moisture, and so forth. The taking birth is 4 different ways to take birth. We are, birth is here see through the sperm and the womb, and then some beings birth is moisture birth, some beings like miraculously birth, so some beings heat birth, I think. So that is like they talk about 4 different ways of birth. Egg birth, I say, or another one is egg birth. So 4 different ways taking birth in samsara. The result of, so then that's if we born to samsara, take 4 different ways birth in samsara, it's a suffering. So we have to purify that. Otherwise, we endless taking birth again and again. So like think about it, we are beginning last time until now we take birth again in samsara. Why we take birth again in samsara? Because due to this, our habitual karmic imprint very strong. That's why we take in samsara birth again and again. The result of purification. So if we purify, the result of purification is the namanakaya, or emanation body form of the Buddha. So we purify this birth karmic imprints. The result is then we are become Buddha. No more ordinary samsaric beings. So that's the reason we have to use this method to purify. This emanation body arises in whatever form and whatever way is necessary to turn beings. So then Buddha means, Buddha is this emanation body arises in whatever form. So Buddha has also different kind of form, arise, form, and whatever way is necessary to turn beings. So benefit for others. Buddha means take different kind of form bodies, emanations, and benefit for others. Necessary to turn beings. So that's why the Buddha has 4 activities, 4 different ways activity to benefit others. Necessary to turn beings means some beings need wrath peacefully benefit. Some beings need increasing wrath for subjugate or many different activities have where to benefit for others. But without being so solid by the 4 ways of taking birth, so even these Buddhas take birth in samsara, then they're free from these obstacles, free from emotions. See, without being solid by the 4 ways of taking birth, the 4 different ways also Buddhas take birth to samsara, but they don't have the obstacles. So 4 different ways of birth is birth from a womb, that's we are. Then birth from eggs. So we know the birds, chickens, or is egg, right? Birth from the heat and moisture. So that's I think many bugs like waters come from. Then miraculous birth, so heron beings, and also some powerful, like beings, lowest beings, heron beings, also miraculous birth, and then some higher beings also miraculous birth. So that different ways taking birth. Then since awakened mind is inherently pure, the form is a clear light, and the automatic wisdom of the union of skillful means and wisdom. So the body take the Bodhisattva Buddhas take birth in samsara. Their mind quality, talking about the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas mind qualities. Since awakened mind is inherently pure, so their mind is pure, means no emotions. So that is say all the Buddhas, Bodhisattva is illicitly, have to reach to first Pimi level. Then they can take birth to in samsara to benefit for others. There has a kind of a more independently taking birth to samsara. They have a choice. So they can control themselves. We cannot control ourselves because we when we die, it's just take birth is follow our karmic imprints. So we don't have a choice. These Buddhas have a choice. They're, when they're going to birth and benefit others, they take birth is benefit others, they have a choice. They have freedom. So we don't have freedom. Then the form is this mind is inherently pure. The form is a clear light, and the automatic wisdom of the union of skillful means and wisdom. So their mind is free from emotion, and their nature mind is clear and empty, empty and wisdom inseparable. So that is the Buddha's mind. So no agent of purification. Then this is a purification. How to do that? Meditate, follow this section. Agent of purification is the actual part, whereby we visualize that in the center of this immeasurable deity palace is a lotus flower. So last week we already talked author universal, and also we talked about the Yadam deity palace. Now it's talking about inside the palace. We have to visualize this inside the palace is lotus flower. Center of this immeasurable deity palace is a lotus flower. So the top, which is a mandala of sun, red in color. A top that is the mandala of the full moon, which is white in color. So this lotus flower is representative mother's womb. It's transforming. Mother's womb is representative impure. Lotus flower is pure percepts. So transform to impure is pure percepts. Then sun and moon. Sun is representative red. It's mother's, and moon is representative white drop. So it's father. And so this, comes together. Usually the beings taking the birth. So this is followed by womb birth. The birth from a womb. And generally, the more detailed teachings, this 4 different birth has different visualization, purify karmic imprints. This is for womb birth. Usually womb birth purify, the same time they purify all other karmic imprints together. So that's the reason here we only share how to purify our womb birth karmic imprints. Then sometimes more detailed teachings follow then how to purify egg birth karmic imprints, how to purify the miraculously birth, and heat and moisture birth. Each one has different, meditations follow specifically. But this is more generally, and talk about only womb birth. So long as you use this method, other also naturally purified together. Even you don't go other, like specifically. So now here, we know this, like mother's womb, father's essence comes together, then consciousness go into there to taking birth, samsaric beings. So why this Yadam deities has a lotus flower seed? Because representative, the purify already karmic imprint, habituate mother's womb. They're not taking, in some, the taking birth samsara, not controlling, they're just taking birth samsara is free from that, not taking samsara like same as other beings, free from that percepts. So that's why when you visualize the Yidam deity, always see it has a lotus flower. And then the top of the sun and the moon. So we visualize that is purifying our, impure, this father's essence, mother's essence. So this is white in color. Then these are stuck one atop the other evenly positioned in the center of the lotus. Center of the lotus is like sun and the top the moon. This. The central deity and the deities in the retinue are visualized seated on their own seats respectively. So we visualize the deity are top of the in this seat. In the case of the Maya Jiva Tantra, the principal deity of the five Buddha family are seated on top of animals and the jewel thrones, sun, moon, and the lotus seeds. So their seeds are 5 layers stuck, one atop the other. These 5 Buddhas, like me Buddha usually has 5 layers. The animal representative is purified ignorance. Also, animal has different symbols because the lion is like, symbolize is you fearless. Become Buddha means fearless, free from fears. Elephant has a power. So like that, it's animal symbols like also the sometimes the quality, some is like, purify karma. So karmic imprints, ignorance or something like that. So each this has a symbolized meanings. Throne has. So that's why this deity in the retinue are visualized, seated in their own seats respectively. Case of Mahayana Tantra, like says, principal deity of 5 Buddha family are seated on top of animal, and the jewel is like representative their love and compassion bodhicitta. Animal representative different ways, depending, each Yidam deity has different symbolized meanings, not always follow same. These sections all the time change because do different sadhana, different deities like changing. Usually, see, purify representative is always impure, like something like, appear to impure precepts. Like example, like Yidam deity has wrath for deities. It's symbolizes purify. And the peaceful deity is representative is qualities. See, love qualities, bodhicitta qualities, wisdom qualities is peaceful Yidam deities. That is aspect. Wrath for Yidam deity aspect is the wrath for Yidam deity aspect is like subdued negativity. Purify, negativity, emotions. Anger purified, representative wrathful, right? And ignoring purify, representative like different kind of animal heads, form bodies, like wearing the animal kind of skins, and so that's all is like purify, symbolize is wrathful deity. Quality symbolize is more peaceful deities. Actually, different ways, like, looking, the essence is not different, it's the same. So think about the example, like we purify our ignorance, then symbolize is like maybe we can have like something different kind of animal skins like wearing or heads, something. That's symbolizes purify ignorance. But when you purify ignorance, you have wisdom that symbolized is like, see, Manjushri's form, like that kind of different, like peaceful form symbolized holding the Manjushri holding the, we have a text, the book, he's holding his hand because it's symbolizes wisdom, knowledge. Why is he has wisdom and knowledge? Because he purifies ignorance, right? So then, which one is symbolized? Wisdom symbolized, knowledge symbolizes both. Purify ignorance symbolized is maybe, different form body. Is animal heads, animal skins, because animal is representative ignorance. So like that. The deity has this, each has like symbolized meanings, form body. So now here, Jiver thrones is say usually quality symbolized. Sun and the moon and the lotus seeds. So this all is a peaceful deity symbolized meanings. It's all the talking about qualities. So the seeds are 5 layers, stuck one top the other. Lotus, sun and the moon, plus animal and the Jiva throne. So 5, the 5 Buddhas, mean Buddha has 5. The Bodhisattvas are seated atop sun and the moon and the lotus seeds. So their seeds are 3 layers. And the Bodhisattva has 3 layers. Think about Buddha Amitabha has 5 layers. And the right side of Chinrezig, left side of Vajrapani has 3 layers, seeds. So then Chinrezig is become me, Yadam deity. Then he has different also, like maybe other, his retinues. So they has 3 layers. Chinrezig has become 5 layers. It's dependent or it's follow. The Bodhisattvas are seated atop sun and the moon, lotus seeds. Their seeds are 3 layers. The 6 Buddhas corresponding to the 6 realms are seated only on lotus seeds. So we have 6 Buddhas. Is 6 Buddhas representative corresponding to 6 different realms. This 6 Buddha is talked about in the Bardo teaching. Sheto Sadhana has lots of information about these 6 Buddhas. Each, Rams representative each Buddha. So each Rams has a different kind of sufferings, problem. I mean, the obstacles. So that's the reason this Buddha, each one has a different kind of symbols hold. 6 Rams are seated only on lotus seeds. Because these 6 Buddhas, lotus is, we already talked up there, representative uncertain, how to say that, it's pure. Even these Bodhisattvas go to all these 6 realms, they're not affected, emotions not affected. These 6 realms suffering never affected these Buddhas. So that's why representative lotus flower. Lotus is, born, grow in the muddy, dirty water, but lotus always is pure. So that's why lotus is a very important symbolized for this Vajrayana teaching. Lotuses. The wrathful gatekeepers are seated only on sun disk. These are just a few examples. Each deity practice will have its own specific visualizations and outline in this text. So each one has a different, other sadhana has more details. So followed by different sadhana, and they have different meanings. The pure symbolism of the seeds is as follows. A lion supported throne represents the 4 levels of fearlessness. So Buddha has 4 fearlessness, 4 levels of fearlessness. This section, this 4 level of fearlessness is lots of information each one. So only this 4 level of fearlessness Buddha has. Even this first Pimi Bodhisattva, second, third, all the way 10th level Pimi Bodhisattva, they don't have that power, fearlessness. So main point is Buddha, his can say, I am enlightened beings. In front of the Bodhisattvas, all the sentient beings, no fears. So that kind, is called fearlessness. Have 4 different kind of fearlessness. In elephant supported throne represents the 10 enlightened powers. So Buddha has 10 powers. We don't go to all these details, otherwise like 4 levels of fearlessness, we cannot finish one day. And then 10 activity takes a couple of days too. So you can find very short informations. It's other sadhanas, and also go to Google, right away come out. This one is for 10 enlightened powers. A horse supported throne represents the 4 legs of magical powers. A peacock supported throne represents the 10 magnetizing powers. Usually we talk about Buddha's quality, love, compassion, bodhicitta, wisdom, power, but we don't talk all these details. It's Buddha quality is his form body's quality and his enlightening quality is lots. There lots of information. If you wanted to learn this more detail, and in the Geo-Onoming Liberation has also some informations, but Geo-Onoming Liberation not that detailed too. Some is Sutra teaching has a lot more informations. A crown supported throne represented taming sentient beings with the 4 enlightening activities. So usually this here mention about elephant, horse, lions, and the peacock, crane. I say crane. So these are the also you can see the 5 Buddha has this different Buddha has like different thrones. These 5 Buddhas. So this representative here is like, see, each animal representative different qualities. The sun and the moon together represents the indivisibility of skillful means and wisdom. So why this Buddha has the sun and the moon seat? Because skillful method, wisdom inseparable. The lotus represents beings unsullied by force. The jewel throne represents fulfilling the hopes and wishes of beings. Destroying or vanquishing ignorance, dualistic, grasping, karma, emotional poisons, the 4 maras, and so on. So this is wrath for deity is always like subduing emotions or purify emotions, that representative is. Peaceful is always quality, Buddha's quality, representative. Other is purify quality. Wrathful is purifying quality. It's arising, the form body. The second stage of actually giving rise to the deity in the mandala is explained in accordance with the 3-fold Vajra method. So, second stage of actually giving rise to the deity, now we visualize seat, throne is already in there. So that part is we already, talked why is we have to visualize the throne. So representative is, then that we have to visualize the Yidam deity, most important. Deity in the mandala is explained according with the threefold Vajra method. Referring again to the four ways of taking birth from the perspective of purifying birth from a womb. So this is a perspective only purifying birth from a womb. We're not talking about specifically go to different birth, purifying. This is just go to generally for perspective of purifying birth from womb. The object of purification is process of the consciousness in the bardo entering into the center of the father's sperm and the mother's ovum, and gradually forming a body inside the mother's womb. So that's the taking the birth, bardo beings. So consciousness, bardo beings consciousness into the mother's womb when father's and mother's essence come together. So that's also need all the karmic imprints and the condition have to come together. So mother has lots accumulation merit, father and mother. Bardo being didn't have that kind of accumulation merit that cannot go into the mother and the mother's womb. And Bardo being has more accumulation merit than parents, so then they also cannot take birth because due to this karma. So that part is very hard to come together because it's taking birth is very hard. It means like bardo beings all the time looking birth, but hard to find. That's we already talked, dream yoga a couple months ago. So you can download the sadhana in our website. It's commentary, and so we talk about Guru Nyadauser with his brother Dorje Jamsi, who was passing, then he looking his Guru Nyadasa Uzer see the Dorje Jamsi, how hard he is in the bardo. He cannot find the, right parents because due to, it's a condition. So that's why it's very hard to come together conditions. So the Buddhists in this section, non-Buddhists have lots of debating in this section. Some non-Buddhists, some they don't believe reincarnation. They don't think about bardo beings. So without bardo beings, then parents every day, wakes like making the baby, because you don't need consciousness. So why we cannot have all the time baby? Because due to this consciousness have to go into the mother's womb. So that has need all the condition have come together. So think about you need seeds in the ground, put something, and then you need all the condition, water, soil, every condition perfectly have to go together. Then it's fruit or flowers arise. Otherwise, not possible. So like that, when we take birth, it's not easy to you get parents in the bardo beings. Very hard to find right one. So now here, see, talking about the main point is, so we have to purify that obstacles. Then when we die, this future life, we don't have to look to the mother's womb. As long as you purify in these obscurations using this method. So otherwise, when we die, usually we say 49 days in the bardo, but you don't know how long really. Goes like years too in the bardo because you cannot find. 49 days, you have opportunity to take the birth, but not possible to mostly beings can get parents to take birth. So many beings in the Bardo. So then going to take birth means like very few. So many refuge, how many get citizen, right? Like that. So very hard to get parents in the Bardo. So there's also like you need condition, perfectly condition have to happening due to our karma. So no, you practice this section, you purify all this karmic imprints. We don't need to log our parents in the Bardo. That's the reason this teaching is very important. It's a very special method. So lotus represented being solid by force. The jiva, I see this we already finished. Similarly, the seeds of wrath for deities, text for each deity. Okay, second stage of actually giving rise to the deity. In the mandala is explained in according with the it's a very special method. Varjara method. So lotus represented being solid by. Someone is play again. Okay, refrain again. In the mandala is explained in word. Someone need a mute. From the perspective of purified birth from womb, the object of purification is the process of the consciousness in the Bardo entering into the center of father's sperm and the mother's womb and gradually forming a body inside the mother's womb. So when we visualize the Yadam deity, we have to visualize the syllable, top of the moon disk, we visualize the syllable. The syllable representative in pure this consciousness is transforming. So mother essence, father essence come together, then consciousness go into there to taking birth, right? So no, we visualize the Yadam deity, visualize the syllable first. Why is we visualize the syllable? Because syllable is representative consciousness. Impure consciousness is transforming Buddha's mind. So the moon, this seed is the sperm of the father. I say the entering in concert with this, the seed of the son, this is the ovum of the mother. Son is the representative mother's essence. The moon, this seed is the sperm of the father. The samadhi of casual seed syllable. So now we visualize the syllable. This syllable is a dependent Yadam deity, right? Each deity has a different syllables, different colors. So you visualize the white Tara, white thumb syllable. If you visualize green Tara, green thumb syllable. Visualize Buddha Amitabha, sh, red sh syllable. So Chinra is a white hong syllable. And then like that, you know, each Buddha has different syllables. Due to the color, you know, like deity has different colors, syllable is usually exactly the same color. So Yadam deity is color is red, you have to visualize the red syllable. Yadam deity is white, so you have to visualize white color syllable, in which the seed syllable descends and takes its place on the deity's seat. So deity is the top of the seat. We have to visualize the seed syllable. Is meant to purify the period during which the Bardo beings consciousness enter into the womb of the mother upon the merging of the red and white essence. So consciousness usually taking birth, Bardo beings. So that is this one is a purification, purify the karmic imprint. And then the body develop. So body develop in the mother's womb, in the embryonic and the fetal period. When the seed syllable transform into the hand, implement, or whatever deity you are pure practicing. This purify the process of the consciousness entering into the merging of the white and the red essences and the mind merging with them. So mind go into them. Then we visualize the seed syllable emanating and reabsorbing light rays. So usually we visualize top of the moon's this syllable. The syllable light radiates. Light rays. This purify the process of the embryo forming in the mother's womb and the gradually development of the body. So usually consciousness into the mother's womb and then gradually, become the body's development, gradually development. Bodies become bigger, right? Until 9 months. So that kind of karma is purifying when you using this syllable like radiates. So of the body, then also the sense, faculties, and the constitutional elements by the working of the 4 elements. So this all is become in the mother's, this father essence, mother's essence, and the consciousness gathering in the together, then gradually, become forming bigger and bigger developing. So the syllable like radiating means like purifying that all karmic imprints of the body, sense, faculties, and the constitutional elements by the working of the 4 elements. When the syllable completely transforms into the deity's body, so then that syllable is like radiates after syllable is transformed to the Yidam deity's body. So that means like purifying birth karmic imprints. That is body. This purify the habitual imprints of the sentient being's body as it is fully formed and developed in the womb and become ready to be born. So purify all the take birth. Starting, like Pardo beings taking into the looking the mother's womb to all the way take birth under this seed syllable. I mean the like throne and the seed syllable under transform to the Buddha's body. So that all purification. That's why we visualize the throne, visualize the sun and the moon, visualize the syllable. So that's all the stages called generation stage. It means like one by one we visualize the stage and purifying our birth karmic imprints. So now we don't have to reborn to samsara if we follow this meditation. So now your body is become Yidam deity's body, not samsaric being's body. So no more samsaric ordinary body, then no longer suffering. Become our body is Buddha's body. What is Buddha's body? Buddha's body is empty. Empty is form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form body. So long as your form is not exist longer physically, permanent, I mean the like delusionally not exist. So that means like then no obstacles, no suffering. We call the Vajra form body. Our body is Vajra form. So free from all the obstacles, free from suffering. So long as we have this body, then think about, so doesn't matter which kind of like you are, beings, long as you have a body, then no conscience is suffering because ordinary form body. So everyone, like has birth, old age, sickness, that all is come to the body. So we are free from that. It's called matter of form body. It's subdued. Matter of form body. Long as you have this form body, you have I and self. So all this suffering is based on our body, form body. And you meditate, this practice is subdued matter of form body. And then this also have different kind of method. This one is another method, skillful method, purify birth karma imprints. This section is we usually, sutra and Theravada tradition, we don't talk like this way, but the different method they're using too. So Theravada tradition, we meditate the selflessness of a person. So you look into ourself, where is I and the self? Is you recognize I and the self is no exist. Even you don't think about all the phenomena is emptiness, but long as you realize like selflessness of a person, then you're not taking birth into the samsara. Because emotion arise from the I and the self due to our this form body. And then we meditate the selflessness of person, you recognize I and the self is no exist. I and the self is no exist, then no emotion. Where is emotion come from? Because due to self-grasping. So we reborn to samsara, the cause is self-grasping. Self is I, and I is like based on your body. This is my hand, this is my eye, and this is my leg, and like that. So no longer you are and the self is exist, then no emotion arising. So then no emotion, you don't have a causes of taking birth in samsara. That meditation takes a longer time comparing to this one. This is called special method. So you're using this method, and then it's transforming, called impure perception transforming, changing. It's a different method. This is called skillful method, using skillful method. We are free from samsara. So now, see, we are already Buddha, become Buddha's body, birth as purify at the same time implicity. So now next, when we give rise to the deity, in deity development stage practice. So now we have to meditate Yidam deity development stages. Oh, we have a time, still lost time. Okay, continue. Time is not finishing. I thought the time is gone. So we have to keep going. So now we have to meditate. When we give rise to deity, so now we visualize, see, syllables transform to the Yidam deity. Our impure consciousness is transformed to the Buddha's mind. So we are become Buddha. In deity development stages practice, we need to have three elements intact. So we visualize three elements intact, three different aspects where meditate practice. So in this section now, followed by front generation, self-generation is depending, we can follow both different directions. Front generation, self-generations. Two different levels of meditate, usually when we practice Yidam Deity. So, front generation, and we just thinking about like we are ordinary person, or you also usually you can meditate yourself as a deity, but also same time you visualize the Yidam Deity in front of us. So example, Chinrezek sadhana, we visualize ourselves as a Chinrezek, and then we visualize Buddha Amitabha in front of us. So I mean the Buddha Amitabha sadhanas. So like that, we visualize ourselves is transformed to Chinrezek, visualize like this, exactly what we follow. Same time also we visualize in the front Buddha Amitabha, visualize Buddha Amitabha pure lane, Buddha Amitabha's palace, Buddha Amitabha's seat, sun and moon, and the syllable red color transformed to the Buddha Amitabha. He is in front of us. So like that, we can meditate. Then, so this follows the development stage practice. We needed to have 3 elements intact. 3 elements is clear and vivid visualization, stable deity pride, and recollection of purity. Long as you meditate, doesn't matter you visualize Yidam Deity in front of you or visualize yourself is Yidam Deity, we have to follow these 3 elements intact. And clear and vivid visualization, stable deity pride is the second, and recollection of purity is the third. So this is the names. We're going to more detail each one. In all these cases, by relying on the practice of deity development, our grasping and fixation on mundane appearances and our mundane perception are purified. So use this method. We purify, what is we purify? Our grasping is purifying, and the fixation is purifying. All mundane appearances are purifying. So these are the causes of samsara. We have a grasping to the object. We have a grasping to our body, and we have fixation to our body and our house, our relatives, and all this our land. We have fixation, grasping. So these are purifying, and our mundane perceptions are purified. We have to purify this. This is the result of meditating on such as a path as this. So then, using this method, meditating on such as a path in this is appearances here refer to the appearance of all objects of our 5 senses, such as form and the rest. As a method of purifying this, we are first taught how to visualize with clarity and vividness. So we have to purify these mundane percepts using this method. And we also have to purify 5 senses, such as form and the rest. We have 5, actually sometimes we talk about 6 consciousness, 6 faculties, 6 objects. It's 6 times 3 is 18. So this 18, senses, or like this all called together is I don't know how to say the English, but this 18, 6 consciousness, 6 faculties, 6 object. So then due to that, we are fixation to all this object. Consciousness is stuck with 6 object. This faculties, the senses is like, introducing each other, like kind of object and subject is between their senses, introducing each other, and then subject is stuck with the object. Subject is a consciousness, object is a 5, 6 object, you know, song, forms, taste, touch, like, you know, senses. So this is object. And then consciousness, we have eye consciousness, air consciousness, you know, tongue, taste consciousness. So all these 6 different kind of consciousness stuck with this 6 object. So due to that, then we are fixation, grasping to the object. Due to that, we are stuck in samsara. So now we have to purify this. We have to make separate object, subject is created separate. No longer consciousness is stuck with the object. So this meditation helps, you know, main point. How to visualize this is like with clarity and vividness. So you visualize the Yidam Deity clearly and vividly, become your consciousness is not stuck with this 6 object, become separate. Impure percept is become free from impure percept is separate. So that's why having a clear visualization is first. Means visualizing the universe as the immeasurable deity palace and all within the universe as the deities, recognize all sounds as the nature of a mantra and not letting the mind proliferate, right? Proliferate after objects. So in this section, that's why we have this Drupchi, means like, you know, 24 hours practice. Yidam Deity, Drupchins. Create, you know, practice Yidam Deity, usually called Drupchins. Then follow this 24 hours with Drupchin, is your mind is not stuck in the mundane percepts. So create a pure percept. That's why we practice in Yidam Deity, like, you know, use the sadhana is longest is called Drupchins, 24 hours practice. Then Drumchu, another is like same sadhana, but we don't have neck sections, only day sections. So it's called Drumchu, Drupchin. They have different levels of accomplishment, practitioners practice. So during that time, then we visualize where with the Drupchin, you know, practice, the whole area is visualized. Yidam Deity is pure line, and the house is Yidam Deity's mandala, and then we created the Yidam Deity mandala inside the temple too. So that time, so visualizing the universe as a measurable deity palace and all within the universe as the deities. So Drupchins, we have to create all these structures inside the core mandala. Sometimes depending, you know, not always the same, because due to the ability and due to the, you know, according to the which kind of like you doing practice, how many months, like how you going to elaborate it or just get more simple way, it's all different ways you can practice, elaborate it, and then create all this Yidam Deity's palace. So then inside all these mandalas, it's 5 Buddhas that create. If they cannot do that, then usually we use the tanka, like, you know, mandala drawings put in there inside the mandala. Sometimes they create like, you know, same mandala. So same mandala is kind of more arts. That is like kind of this time more for the, how to say, the showing for others, like used to know like that. This is a kind of new thing in the, you know, in Western country, this monks come and doing same mandala, but in Tibet, usually traditionally that we don't do that way. This publicly showing these mandalas. So only create during the Drupchin practice. And so that time also not same mandala, but using different. So they create. Then if you don't know how to create, that we can have tankas, like put a tanka inside their mandala. So they have different directions, everything. Then we create all the torma, many different. Torma also representative different deities. Mostly is important is like 4 different activities. So mandala, we have to create 4 activities, 4 directions. East, where east, south, west, north. East always is peaceful, pacifying, peaceful deity, representing white color. South is yellow, is representative increasing. West is representative magnetizing. It's red color. It's north is usually black color. Is called wrathful deity. So torma also have different shapes, different colors created. So that's all is representative 4 activities. In the center is the center Buddha. So they mean Buddha, which deity you practice. So that Buddha is the center. Like that, create all this mandala and then chant 24 hours. So why doing that? Because reason is here, see, deities recognize all songs as the nature of a mantra. See, all these forms are Yidam deity, all songs the nature of a mantra, and not letting the mind proliferate after object. So main point of mind is not follow the ordinary percepts, kept all the time in the pure percept. So we create our pure karmic imprints. No longer ordinary beings. All form is Buddha's form. No ordinary song. All song is Buddha's mantra. And no ordinary thoughts, or thoughts is transformed to, maybe we can say dharmakaya, or kept the practice, meditate, visualize, not follow the thoughts, ordinary thoughts, just kept to the mind's practice. So that is the body, speech, mind, or impure is transforming. So that 3 is called Vajra. It's up there, page. Vajra 4 is like, where is the signature? Three Vajra 4. The 3 Vajra 4 is somewhere up, we already talked. So 3 Vajra 4 is like our body is Buddha's body. Our ordinary mind is transformed Buddha's body. Our speech, ordinary speech is transformed enlightened speech. Our ordinary mind is Buddha's mind. So that's 3 Vajra 4. Use that method practicing. Then in the beginning, when you are sharpening your visualization, hold your intention on the overall presence of entire mandala and the deities appearing simultaneously and on the overall form of the principal deity. So this section, then how to visualize the Yidam deity. We talked visualize Yidam deity clearly, vividly, presently. How to do that? And sharpen your visualization, holding your intention. So our pay intention very clearly on the overall presence of the entire mandala. So entire mandala, pay attention. Think about whole mandala. So when you see the tanka, sometimes the tanka has deity's palace, and the Yidam deity is, behind. And then, throne and the red nose, everything together. So whole thing is like visualized instantly together, not followed by one. So otherwise, very hard to do that. Mandala and the deity appearing simultaneously. It comes together instantly, simultaneously. When you meditate Buddha Amitabha, so he has right side is Chinese, left side is Vajrapani, all these different Bodhisattvas in the core purely Tanka has all these retinules, like instantly visualize the whole thing together. Simultaneously, not one by one, and owned over a form of principal deity. Then mind is more focused for the principal deity, not the palace, and not thinking about much other things. Only mind is focus more is for the principal deity. So first you think all this suddenly, instantly, visualize simultaneously all together, then go keep mind more for principal deity. Then visualize over minute data from the crown prostration at the top of the deity's head, all the way down to the seat and the throne, seeing every aspect of the deity's form. The hand implements and the minute details of the ornamentations and so forth. In this part, so when have to follow like little bit different ways. Means first you have to log the tanka image, chrome, then all the every sections, one by one, chrome to all the way feet to chrome. You looking each part. So that is your practicing. Preparation, kind of preparation practice. So generally you log the Buddha's image and log chrome to feet to chrome, and often and analyze looking that. Then when you practice actual practice, mean practice time, you cannot do like that. Log the chrome and then one by one to all the way go down. That is become too much. So first you have to log one by one, but then when you really actual mean practice time is instantly visualized. Then whatever effort to your mind, just keep that in your mind and practice. Sometimes your visualize could be clear, sometimes not clear, but then don't think about, oh no, my visualize clear, or no, my visualize not so clear what I'm going to do. Then that's its thoughts. So whatever comes, you just keep that and focus with the practice. That's it. If your visualization is not sometimes clear, then maybe you have a tanka and the image, load that and just keep going. So not too much pay attention, visualize like too tight. It's become problem. If you're too tight, then you all the time worrying, oh, my visualizations are incorrect, because could be incorrect, could be I cannot visualize clearly what I'm going to do, right? So that kind of always thoughts arising. So that means you are too tight to your mind. You need to relax when you practice. Whatever effort to your mind, just keep that and then chant prayers. Most important is devotion. So long as you have very strong devotion, and Buddha is, even you cannot visualize clearly, it's there. If you don't have a devotion, then you paint Buddha's images, pictures, whatever put in front of you, like beautiful object, like $1 million statue put in front of you is no connections, not much help to you anything. So that's why you need devotion. Same time, then of course you have to know which kind of Buddha form color, everything, then just instantly visualize and then keep practice. Much you can. Then sometimes like you think, oh, I cannot visualize it clearly. So when you finish your practice, then log again the deity's Tanga statue. Tanga is better than statue, I think. It's also good is we have a crystal, like deities. That is like kind of more this introducing information is clear, is empty, present, or this crystal has the qualities. So that kind of you using, and then usually when you wake up, watch the Tanka image, and when you go sleep, watch and log, and then go sleep. So that's helps. And when you go sleep and close eye, think about this image, bring to in your mind, if you can. So when you wake up, you visualize that. And then also the deity is Tanka is like put in your bedrooms, like front of you, you can see all the time. So that become connected all the time. Your mundane perception is purifying. So when you see the Buddha's form, enlightened being's form is introduced to impure percept form body. You have to create a habituate that percepts. So then principal deity, then visualize every minute detail from crown, post-struction at the top of the deity's head, all the way down to the seat and the throne, seeing every aspect of the deity's form. So that section I just told you, when you practice Satam, don't think about this much. Then when you have a pause meditation, we say pause meditation at the time, then you log these details. You can investigate the log, and you can learn these ornaments, aspects. But when you in the meditation practice, don't think about much. Just instantly visualize whatever comes to your mind. Keep that in the mind. Long as you have devotion, then that's it. Already good. The hand implements and the minute details of the ornamentations and so forth. So that's all we have to learn during the pause meditation. Before your practice or end of the practice, then you can do these things. But in the meditation, don't do that. Otherwise, it's become distraction, and you lose your focus. When you have gained clarity and vividness in this, then you can see in your mind's eye the entire mandala and the deities within or at once, and gradually your visualization will become more and more crisp and vivid until it is like stars and constellations, I think.
Yeah.
Shining vividly on the surface of a limpid, clear lake. So yeah, if you can do this, is a great, clearly like this kind of visualize. But it's hard to many people do this. It's long as you all the time really using this image, they could have this kind of like you practice time. So this really helps your habitude is changing. When you think about it, when you drive the car, you see all these objects. Yeah, and it's all impure percepts, mundane percepts. You can see the house, you can see the road, the cars, people, and all this following impure percepts all the time. So in the car, you maybe have like some image of the Tara and Amitabha, like something. You see that image or think about the Tara, and you just naturally your mind effort to this Buddha's effort to clear your mind. During that time, doesn't matter in the houses, the cars, and the people in the road, your mind is not stuck with that mundane percepts. So that is effort to your mind. Still, you can dive. Dive is no problem. Maybe you can dive more better than so seeing the cars, and the houses, other object in pure percepts. So then so that helps. See, right away, impure percepts transformed, and so then you kept going that kind of like habituate again and again. So when you think about the Tara is able to clear your mind. So long as these Buddhas come to clear your mind, you don't have mundane percepts already purifying. So why we are stuck in samsara? Because our mundane percept, right? Impure percept, karmic imprint is so strong. So that is like kind of like river is following, never stopped. Mundane percept is, river is like big rivers follow, right? Like that. Our mundane impure percept is like that kind, all the time, never stop. So long as you visualize the Yidam deity in the clearly in your mind, you stop samsaras or this cause. Immediately you stop there, cut there. So that is called the cutting. Sometimes we talk about the Dzogchen use this called tikchu, means this Yidam deity also practices tikchu too. You cut mundane percepts. You cut samsara conditions. You cut all our impure percepts there. When you effort to Yidam deity in your mind, then you just close eye and be that. Your fear is become more connections, arise devotions, and a different feeling. If you have something like, negative feeling, it's naturally released. Because when you visualize the Yidam deity, your positive feeling is arising. So you can stop negative or, your emotions, thoughts too. So then negative emotion, thoughts also liberating, transforming too. So that's why we have to create. This is called creation, generation stage. It means create. We have to create that kind of percepts ourselves. So that's why I see in this section, when Garchen Rinpoche, he all the time play mantra, he's roam all the time, 24 hours, no stopped. So that kind of, he wanted to be in this kind of, in the percepts, mandala. Become you are in the Yidam deity's mandala, you create yourself that. And we ordinary people always like follow the, of course, the impure percepts, mundane speech, mundane thoughts, mundane, percepts. So practitioners, these all mundane thoughts, percepts, songs are transformed the right way. They create their mandala, own mandala there, where they are they create that it's Buddha's purely. So Vajrayana teaching, Buddha felt purely we have to create. Where you are, you can create there. You can create harems, if you don't do correctly, you can create, you do correctly, you can create like purely in the where you live. So you don't have to go somewhere else to create, where you stay, that is, you can create there, exactly that place is Buddha's purely. That is the meditators does, Thank you, saying. So we have to create that percept karmic imprints. It takes time. not easy because we always have this mundane perception, impure perception, conditions are so strong. Long as your eye is open or is in the, is a desire object, mundane object. So then your mind is already used to all the time follow this object. So you cannot control your mind. Not easy to do control because it's easy to follow that. You already habituated, so strong. Practitioners seeing all forms Buddha's form, not for ordinary people. So if you don't have that kind of level, then you cannot say, oh, this form is Buddha, right? Not yet Buddha. So all forms Buddha means like you really have that perception arise your mind. Visualize very clearly all the time, Yadam Deity's form body. Then you can do all seeing form is Buddha's form. Hearing song is a mantra, and the thought is Dharmakaya. But for beginners, we cannot do that. That's why we need tankas, statues, or this special object. So one day you seeing all forms Buddha's form, then you no need tankas, statues, this any object you don't need. Long as one day you all songs mantra, then you don't need this mantra. Everything's mantra for you. So until that, we need all this relative object because dependent, so that's why it's always this section is different levels and different times we have to think and use practice because this very clearly visualization looking to Buddha's eye and the nose and the mouth and the head, every one detail is before your practice or after practice, not in the practice. In the practice, instinctively visualize is more powerful. Then just keep that much ever you can that effort to your mind, and don't then too much try to pay attention. Otherwise, you cannot keep. Your visualization is very good, but you try to keep very clearly your fixation again. Then you lose that too. So that's why it's followed by individual level, and most important is our devotion. So keep your intention single pointed focus and rest your mind naturally. You can begin by visualize and focusing on whatever is easiest for your mind to attain to and gradually expand. This is not sit, way, or order or number of times. One must do this. So that's say how many times I have to do. No one can give you a number. So what we have to do until you recognize your mind is, correctly visualize is clear. So we have to practice until that. It's called unlimited practice. Not limited. If limited, then you say, okay, 5 times, 6 times, right? There is no seed way or order number of times one must do this. It is something that can be turned to the individual's constitution. So now we can leave that today, I think. Yeah, I think we can stop here today, so tomorrow can continue. So today, this is still we are in the clarity section, clarity, vivid visualization. Then comes other 2 aspects. So this talk about 3 intakes is a very important section when we practice Yadam Deity. Okay, so now we go to the prayer first, then we can talk discussion. Prayer. Dorjen Chang, Delopa, Naropa, Marpa, Malarepa, Damalot Gambopa, Pamotropa, and Lord Digomba, please bestow upon us most auspicious blessing of all Kaju Lamas. You can see, right? I'm sharing screenshot.
Yes.
By this virtue may I achieve omniscience. By defeating all enemies, confusion, may all who traverse on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn may it arise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activity suffer far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As Manjushri, the Vero realized the automic state, and as did Samantha Bhatta, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attain the Tirikaya, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as a side, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha, order may the merit Ashe bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three towns, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the inner rule of virtue, may and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teaching of the great Digompa Ranashiri, who is omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of Interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. Thank you, everyone. So, no, have any questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. So during the practice for the Idam deity, let's say we can visualize ourselves that we are the Idam deity. What about if we don't feel it? Are we supposed to actually feel that we are the Idam deity, or is it just more visual?
So, fear is actually, yeah, it's you actually coming tomorrow, the section, I think, more clear.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's that your question is very good, but not easy to answer.
Yes.
So,
And,
yeah, it's yes, of course, hard to fear that because our, the so strong habituate is ordinary percepts, and very hard. That's why we visualize auto level Yadam deity. So the helps like recognize our inner Yadam deity and the sacred Yadam deity. So that practice then more and more become, you I think, can feel more strong, recognizing ourselves as Buddha.
And can I just one more question ask in reference to that question?
Yes.
So do you think it's easier in a bardo to feel, to see as a Idam deity, or during this life when we have a physical body is easier? But you think it's better in bardo or in this life?
Bardo is easy or not is dependent in this life. So if we practice more often and often, used to our mind, when you close eye, so that is apple to your mind, then definitely I think Bardo, you recognize. So we have to create that percept in this life. Then in the Bardo, I think is you recognize.
Correct.
Yeah. If we don't create in this life, then of course Bardo not possible. Yeah. Some people like practice daytime or always Yadam deity. In the dream, you have a, in the dream you have this practice Yadam deity, So that is like same as Bardo.
Thank you, Grandpa.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jana.
Kempo, may I make a question?
Yes, Emila.
Um, yes, Kempo.
Rose. Yes, Rosie, yes.
Thank you. When you visualize and you become, like in the secret level, you become Buddha Amitabha, for example, and when the time of death arrives, your mind becomes that pure land. It's not that, is it that there is no place like a pure land, Tehuachan, that you're going to? It's that your mind becomes that pure space, that pure land? Or is there an existence place that you're going to? Let's say, like when people ask, if I'm not a Buddhist and I die, do I go to Tehuachan? And so it's not that you're going to, it's your mind that becomes that pure land. Is that how we conceive it, Kempola?
That's it's a dependent, right? So you're talking about a sacred level.
Yes, like
Sacred level means like we are becoming enlightened. Enlightenment. So then enlightened qualities arising. And the ultra level practice reborn to Devachin, the percept. That's our percept become. Same is like we are reborn in this land like that. Percept is reborn to Devachin. It's a better situation, everything. So sacred level means like really enlightened. You have that practice, you are enlightened.
So
then it's beyond the Devachin.
Beyond.
Yeah, Devachin is not, it's always we temporarily talking, right? It's Devachin is not enlightened. Devachin is like another state, is like safe place. So long as you reach there, it's like no come back to samsara reborn ordinary again. So in that place you can enlightenment.
So, but it's a state. It's not a place. It's a state of consciousness.
So enlightenment is then you cannot say consciousness and the place is we beyond that percept. So we don't have to think about what happened then. Yeah, it's that part is is we cannot share because we don't have that capacity. Yeah. If someone never fly in the airplane, whatever they talk about airplane, like you are above the clouds, then they're thinking about their own villages, small hairs. They went to the top of the small hairs. So only that kind of perception they has. They never ever think about above the clouds. So like that, whatever we talk, so we don't get anything. The level part is beyond us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Campo. Thank you for the teaching. I got a question for you.
Yes,
Julius. So usually when we do our practice, sometimes we wish to be liberated in this lifetime. And then when sometimes I read the Kung Tu Sampo, it says that sometimes if we practice, we can liberate all sentient beings within 3 lifetimes. And then on this book that you have on page 78, on the second paragraph, if we practice it and without meditation, we can achieve liberation within 7 lifetimes. So how does the differences of the different lifetimes that is explained on the text? Can you share with us your insight on the 7, 3, and maybe 1 lifetimes?
One lifetime is if you put effort to practice 1 lifetime, and then you keep connect with the Dharma. You chant kind of example prayers, even you not really practice it strongly, like meditate Mahamudra, even you don't enlighten in this life, 3 lifetimes. At least goes 7 lifetimes, then you are okay. Long as you have a connect with the Vajrayana empowerment. Yes.
Thank you.
So highway takes 1 hour, and the other road maybe takes like 3 hours. Another road you goes like takes 7 hours. So they have 3 road. Which
So,
one you're
but we
taking,
don't
right?
know which lifetime are we at, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, or maybe it's still on the 1st, right?
Yes, we don't know. That's always unpredictable. Individual knows, you due to your practice, right? What are you doing? Yeah. So you're going to walk and maybe it takes 3 hours. You ride bicycle, maybe, walk 7 hours, bicycle 3 hours, car 1 hour.
So the next question is, as we do our practices, right? Sometimes when to achieve the higher level, we need to get empowerment and also teaching. Sometimes we want to really teach. Do we actually right now receive the teaching from you so we can start practicing all these other higher level of Mahamudra, or this require more like a one-on-one, kind of a teaching?
This is you required. This is you receiving teaching so you can meditate. Yes. So no, other like you can receive other teaching. This is the teaching, right? If you're going somewhere, so the road is the same. I'm showing the road. Okay, this is the road, right? So no, you have to dive, or walking, or ride bicycle. Yeah. So then, if you walk, takes 7 hours. That is illicit. Yeah. And then if you go walk very fast, could be 5 hours. If you use bicycle, maybe 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. Car can be 1 hour, but could be if you go very fast speed, maybe 40 minutes, 30 minutes. So that's all up to the driver, right? Not the road, the whole far destination. So like that, it's up to the individual practitioners. Yes.
So in terms of the idam deities, there are many type of idam deities, and we have received a lot of idam deities empowerment from His Holiness Granchen Rinpoche and many other teachers, right?
Yes.
So once we receive this empowerment, are we supposed to practice all of these idams, or we just pick one?
Oh, auto level, sacred level, inner level, we talked, right? Auto level, actually, all the data is different. So inner level is kind of the same, but sacred inseparable. So then, which like you really practice and which way? Auto level, you usually teachers require if you receive the example Tara empowerment, then they'll have to chant the mantra, have required sometimes. Sometimes they don't say, but some sadhana have required to do that. And auto level part is each deity have an accomplishment. You want how many mantra you have to chant, how long you have to engage in, they all have the informations. The inner level, sacred level is you really cannot give like that way because up to individual. So you practice one yadam deity, is all deity is there, same one.
So yeah, I've been chanting like for some, 108 times for the different type that we received empowerment wise. But those are the main Idam deities yet. I'm still waiting for that from maybe Karchen or maybe from the.
Good. So if you can chant, yeah, it's long as you receive empowerment, so you chant this different deities mantra is better. Good.
Thank you, Genpo.
You're welcome. Wonderful. If you can do the all the deities, mantras, which deity you receive empowerment. I never ever can do my life because I received 100 different kind of deities empowerment. Some I don't remember which ones. Honestly, So the Tibetan tradition have a collection called treasure. It's treasure collections. All these deities is different lineages and different Yadam deity practice is 100 empowerment. Only does empowerment, not sharing, teaching, information, anything. Just teacher chant and read and sharing the empowerment. It takes a couple months. So like that, many in the treasure collections. If you receive that kind of collection treasures, you really don't know what is there much. So you know what I'm receiving that day only, but a couple of days after you forget because too many. Then not possible to chant all the mantras. So you kept like thinking about Vajrapane, Chinrezek, and Manjushri. So this three is like representative of all the Buddha's qualities. I think that long as you practice these three, is all the practice Buddhas.
I thought, didn't we have to study like the Chakra Samvara for the Kagyu lineage? That's the main, Idam deity, Chakra Samvara.
Yeah, that's a main deity. So, but main deity means like actually followed by individual. So, monasteries say Chara Sambara is main deity, but go up to individually, but they don't really do that way. So when we require in chant monastery, then we do practice together, but come to up individually, people focus more Tara or Chinrezek something. I don't think so focus much Chara Sambara. Okay, so no EDG. Julius, you mute. I don't know, you talking?
Oh, okay. No, I'm not talking yet. I'm trying to understand the, visualization, aids to visualization. You mentioned the palace and the deities associated with the palace, and then you mentioned tankas. Is there an example of a tanka that includes not only the deity but also the palace? Or is there a sadhana that includes the palace and the deity and so forth? All the tankas I've seen don't either show the palace and all the gates, or they show the deities with no palace. So is there something that shows both in either a sadhana or a tanka?
Sadhana usually have a both.
Is there an example?
You mean sadhana?
Yes.
Sadhana example, say we have a White Tara sadhana. It's two different sadhanas. White Tara short one don't have, but long one has. And deity's palace. It's even Chinrezek, Nyingne Ritud. Also talk about the palace too. And that's all has one by one. And then tankas sometimes have, but it's when even you draw tanka, but you really cannot paint all this perfectly because deity is inside in the palace. If you paint the palace, you cannot see the deity, right? you paint the deity, and then you want to see the deity, so you cannot see the palace. But sometimes they make kind of a palace is in the behind there. That's just simple form, but I don't think so. It's 100% like really give you the everything information. So most important is visualize the Yidam deity. So that's why it's Tankas always paint the Yidam deity form.
Okay, so in all so it would be nice to have an example of the white Torah, of the long white Torah sadhana, but another. I'd like to get a copy of one, but the other question is our normal deity practice is doing a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now, right? When we practice our the deity sadhanas in the mornings, we're already practicing this, right? What we're talking about today.
Yes, we practicing, yes, all the time.
Yes, okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. Robert?
Yes, Rinpoche, can you hear me? I'm wondering, you mentioned that different Yidam have a seed syllable. I'm wondering if you are using Padmasambhava as the Yidam. What is the single seed syllable?
Oh, Pema Sambhava?
Yes.
Pema Sambhava on Ahong Benzar Guru Pema Siddhe Hong. So it's a Hong syllable. Sometimes they use a Hong syllable. Then also they use sometimes Pema. Guru Pema. Pema is lotus, like syllable Pema.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
And whom?
Hong, yeah. Hong is like always, like most Yidam deity. See, think about Hong, Hong Bezanguru Pema Siddhe Hong. The last syllable is usually used.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That's my question.
You're welcome. Yeah, according to different sadhana could be changed, not always the same.
I understand.
Because due to the Pema Sambhava has many sadhanas, due to this different discovery tertons create many different sadhanas. So yeah, it's not always the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. So I think finish it, right? Have a good day.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you, Kempola.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kempola and everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
All the live people. Oh.
Thank you, Garchen Buddhist Center there in Vancouver. It's wonderful that you can be there, Kempo, and now visiting with the students and developing the center. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, here, Masha.
Oh, look at the there they are. Look at that beautiful center. Wow, look at that Buddha. That looks amazing.
Wow, that's Rinpoche. That's Rinpoche picture. Rinpoche picture.
So wonderful. All the students have this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Show us more, Kempo. Show us more.
Show us
more. Yeah.
One more wall.
Show us the center.
This one is the most important here.
What's that Tonka over in the corner? Yes, that one. What's that one?
Jigten Songgon. Jigten Songgon lineage Tanka. Okay.
Wonderful.
No more tour.
Okay.
Here is see the Buddha. That's it.
Wonderful.
It's a pure land.
It is.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye,
Hi, everyone. Have a beautiful